I watched the first 2 minutes of this clip. In it, Reford is talking about how, this new possibility, it's not even a possibility. It's just interesting to watch everybody just talk about this. I really am more interested in watching. Honestly, yeah, sure, I'll make videos, I'll give my opinions, but it's just fascinating to just watch the way people are reacting to this particular tease. That's what it is, because it came from an official source, even though it was an error, even though it was a tease, even though whatever it is. But to just hear other opinions is just so interesting, because in my last video I concluded that the first minute of this missive that he does actually is not looking at the big picture. However, I myself even missed another bigger picture because for some strange reason I just did not realize how much of a checkmate this move is actually going to be if it ever became a thing. Let me go ahead and show you a few things, and then, let's do this. Let's listen to something that Refort said about PlayStation blocking its games from possibly playing on an Xbox device, which will have access to Steam, and possibly, if Xbox had access to maybe Windows, perhaps this might not even have any effect. Listen.
Stop their games. Easy. Okay. So Sony is actively right now blocking entire regions from buying their games. And they're not requiring PSN login anymore on Steam. And they are still region blocking games. Do you think they give a frick about blocking games from playing on an Xbox? You think they care? They're blocking entire regions on Steam from buying their games. You think they care about the piddly amount of Xboxes that will be in the market that can't play their games?
Relax, Reforge. I understand that maybe this might be maybe the interaction you're having with an audience member is irate. And in my last video, when I ended that video, I said, the one thing that's not being considered in your missive is that there are actually a lot of other games that will be available to Xbox gamers that are not available to them right now, that are not even PlayStation games. They have nothing to do with PlayStation. Games like Half-Life, games like older titles that were probably not even backward, compatible, or have not yet been put in a backward compatible program because of, say, things like licenses and so on and so forth. But here's also another thing. What then happens to third-party exclusivity, where the publisher will have the potential or the capability to put the game on Steam while also locking it away from Xbox and putting it on PlayStation? What does that do to that entire third-party deal? Well, it already kills it before it even starts. So the Xbox gamer will not have to guess if they're going to play a game like maybe Rise of the Ronin. They're not going to have to guess if they're going to play a game like Black Myth Wukong. They're not going to guess if they're going to play a game like Final Fantasy 16 or whatever, because Square Enix is not going to block somebody who wants to play the game from Steam from playing the game. They're not going to do that. They're going to be like, why would I want to stop somebody from from giving me money? Does that make sense? Because the game is published by Square Enix, but they're not doing third-party exclusivity anymore. I'm just saying, like, imagine if somebody woke up again and said, oh man, like Phantom Blade Zero's developers, right? Let's just say Phantom Blade Zero's devs. I don't know what their, thing was. Where is this is Phantom Blade Executioners. What is this? This is a different game. This is an entirely different game. Yeah, let's just say the developers of Phantom Blade Zero come out and say, well, we sign an exclusivity deal, and then Xbox basically releases an update that says, hey, by the way, you can install Windows on that, Xbox of yours, get a mouse and a keyboard, do what you want. Well, it's null and void, because the Xbox gamer can just literally, if they want to, go ahead and install Windows on their Xbox, because they have free cloud saves. For the most part, their saves are going to be fine. They wipe their Xbox if they want to, so they can install all these fun Steam games and check out what that is. But these exclusivity agreements, they basically die. Here's another side, Reford, that you're not thinking about. Good old games. The cat is out of the bag. If you're a PlayStation player, if you're an Xbox gamer, let me give you what I think is my own advice so that you can be prepared, because this can change really fast. If PlayStation wants to be petty and you want to be petty and PlayStation players want to be petty, this is me just telling you because I like strategy. Go to Good Old Games and buy yourself whatever PlayStation game you want and just leave it on there. Wait for a sale if you want. It's your choice. You do what you want. But I got to tell you that there are PlayStation games on here. You may or may not know, or may not have known, but these games are actually DRM-free games, meaning that you can download their installer, no activation or online connection required to play. Do you see that? You can do the same for the Uncharted Legacy of Thieves collection, also DRM-free version that they have here. And you require no online activation or connection to play that game. You can also do the same for Days Gone. Yes. Yes. You could do that. And you can get yourself a copy here. And this copy is also DRM free. Right? If you want, no activation required. Or you could just get yourself any other no DRM free game. Basically, physical copy level games, actually better than physical copies, because you get to put this media on whatever hardware that you want, subject to your own maintenance of the hardware or your own, custody of the hardware. So it's not like a disc which can basically break or whatever it is. There's one more. There's actual Horizon Zero Dawn if you want to play as Aloy. There are 4 PlayStation games, I think, that were actually launched on Good Old Games. This was a glitch in the Matrix, guys. This literally was a glitch in the Matrix when PlayStation did this. And at the time, they were called PlayStation PC LLC. They were doing the same thing on Steam, but they've changed now. But since then, they have not published the game on Good Old Games. We've yet to see it. And I'm sure now they're going to be more adamant to doing so. So if you really want to play the PlayStation games, if you, oh my gosh, I'm dying to play these PlayStation games or whatever it is, you know what I mean? But still, though, you're not going to come up here and then look at a game like Alpha Protocol. You know what I mean? If you really want to, dive into some real solid game. Did they remove Alpha Protocol from here? Oh, that's a PlayStation. Oh, I got scared. I was like, man, I thought they brought it back. Alpha Protocol. Right? And you can get yourself a copy. You can get yourself a copy of the old Resident Evil games, because now what Good Old Games is doing is they're asking people to put together a dream list so that you can vote for them to basically go ahead and start bringing back the classic games on here. And you'll be able to play these games on your Xbox, even games that are beyond what back compat could even bother with. They're going to be available for you to play. This is insane, guys. Like, if Xbox opens this thing up, it's going to be wild. And so I'm looking at Reforge going, man, you have to understand that there's a world beyond all of this stuff that's being pointed out here that needs to be talked about.
They won't care. There's like 30 million Series X's and S's in circulation. How many of these box hybrids do you think they're going to sell? Maybe equal to what they've sold right now. Maybe less, as they continue to lose customer confidence and consumer confidence in their hardware efforts. And they continue to muddle their marketing talking points, and like everything's an Xbox, and you don't need an Xbox, and you can play. No, I don't think PlayStation would bat an eye. They'd be like, no. We block entire regions from buying our game. You think we care about let's just say 20 million of these sell? You think they care about that?
Shuei Yoshida. Actually showed that they care when he said that releasing games on PC is a license for Sony to print money. They do care. They would happily take the extra income. Okay? This is not a matter of they're blocking regions or whatever it is. If you have a Windows device, and a lot of these people keep presuming that Xbox is going to somehow abandon the Series S and the Series X's, I strongly believe that Phil may actually open up this Xbox console that we have here. That, to me, will be the biggest pro-consumer move I've ever seen, where the current Xbox consoles can literally go Windows. The only challenge is that Series S. So it would need to be a specialized layer, like mobile version Windows, but still has access to some of those key functionalities out there, where you can just basically put layer apps up top, like, you know, you would have like on the Windows Phone, but would then support things like Steam, a regular browser, and all of that, so that it doesn't need all the processes that Windows, you know, like a regular Windows desktop would need, you know, because regular Windows desktop is very, well, not very, can be, I'm not saying is, but can be very resource intensive. Like, you know, they don't want you to go ahead and start going, oh, I want to download freaking DaVinci Resolve because I want to edit videos, and then your task manager looks like mine, and it's like, bro, no. They probably will not want to do something like that. But if they did with the current 30 million already existing devices, man, the incentive to buy an Xbox is going to be insane. In fact, even if they didn't, and the next Xbox does that, even PlayStation players would jump on in to that Xbox, you know, paradigm. Because like I said in my other video, that many gamers do not like playing on locked systems. They only play on locked systems because for some, they say, oh, it's convenient or it's whatever it is. But if they have the, you know, if they can tether themselves to the locked system on one end while being able to leverage a developer mode on the other end, man, I cannot tell you how much that's going to really resonate with a lot of gamers. I mean, for instance, like I was showing you guys in the other video, developer mode on the Series X is a thing. You know what I mean? Like, it's here, Xbox dev mode. You can go ahead and activate your, you know, console and make it a developer, you know, you can put it in developer mode and do like a, you know, a few really cool and interesting things at the end of the day.
No. The Steam user base is enormous. And by this time this thing shows up, you're going to have probably, I would guess, over 100 million PlayStation 5s in circulation. By the time this thing shows up in 2027, you'll probably have about 100 million or more PlayStation 5s in circulation. And you have games that you're kicking over the Steam user base, staggering, you know, Ghost of Yotei will end up on Steam, right? They're not going to be like, oh no, whatever will we do if we block our games from landing on Xbox's new hardware? Like,
sir, you got to realize that when money is involved, these companies, their flexibility starts to show. They got flexible bones in them. Now, you say that they're blocking entire regions, but you also mentioned that they stopped requiring the PlayStation login. Well, that was a shift. That was them being flexible and wanting to basically find ways to make money because they could not afford to launch a game like Spider-Man and then, you know, basically hamstring it. Who's to say that their region block may not become more flexible on Steam, where they basically allow for people in other regions to start having access to their games so that they can sell more copies? It's not as fixated as you make it sound, like they're going to be so stiff-necked and whatever it is. They got flexibility when the dollars are on the line. So I wouldn't hedge my bets on that, because many people would have hedged their bets that PlayStation was going to continue with the PlayStation login requirements. They would have lost a lot. They would have lost some money at least because they did it partially.
I don't care, but I don't think they'd be okay with it. Sony blocks God of War from being played on GeForce Now when you're playing from an Xbox. Sony ain't playing. Right there. Yeah, thank you, MM2K. Right there.
Well, yeah, they were busy blocking and busy, you know, getting all gung-ho blocky, but then when they saw that nobody was buying those games and Spider-Man was about to come out, they were like, bro, we can block and pretend like we're going to be blocking on this corner, but there was a requirement here. It literally used to exist here that said, you know, PlayStation account required, blah, 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 and then they removed it. It's still, I think Lego Horizon Adventures or Until Dawn remake, one of them still has it. Hold on. Oh, yeah. Lego Horizon Adventure still requires that you have a PlayStation, you know, login or PlayStation account before you can actually play the game. I think Until Dawn Remake still has it. Here we go. Yeah. So what did they do? The same game that you're talking about that they're trying to block from GeForce Now. I don't know if Ragnarok is there, right? But Ragnarok got it removed. Why? Because this is an expensive game and they wanted to push some copies and they wanted to create access. So they removed it. They disappeared it. Oh, you don't need to log in anymore. So again, you know, which begs the question, what was the initial reason for actually putting it on there? I don't know, bro. I'm just going to close this window. I'm just going to go game a little bit more. I just feel like a lot of folk are so tunnel visioned in their hatred for the Xbox ecosystem that now that Xbox has decided, they've remembered that, oh my goodness, it's like the prodigal son. Oh, we have access to Windows, and we have to actually be consumer friendly because anybody on PC expects consumer friendliness, and we are consumer friendly. So I guess we can go there and make money. Everybody on PlayStation is, well, the so-called PlayStation talking heads seem to not necessarily, want to embrace the reality that, guys, there are more games to be played than PlayStation games on the PC platform, which is probably the biggest surprise for many. Well, we'll see. I don't know. I mean, like I said, I'm not certain that they're going to do this, but you never know. Perhaps they may, I don't know. Phil may look and say, man, this is the last ditch effort. Tell his engineers, y'all better get on that, operating system that's going to basically give these Xbox players access to Windows and call it a day. And from then on, it just be a Windows console from then on. And then all this exclusivity and money hiding and everything is just going to become a waste because that's what it's going to be. All right. We'll see. Talk to me in the comment section. Thanks for watching. Peace out.